Whoo! Assalamu alaikum. What's good, people?
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. What's happening?
Man, chilling. Hey, we back with Halal Bad Boys episode 10. We're going on like this Hijra train. We're gonna get a few more episodes. We're gonna switch up the topic again, but right now we're on the Hijra train, just talking about Muslims living in the West looking to move to Muslim countries, and we're talking to quite a few guys who have experience living as Westerners in the Middle East. And I suppose some of the general rules would apply to non-Muslims also, because I have a large non-Muslim crowd that watches also. So if you're non-Muslim, this could in general apply to you also, but in specific, we're usually talking to Muslims. So Abu Mustafa, man, welcome.
Well, what's up, bro?
Man, I'm talking to dudes I know, just in case the crowd knows. I'm only talking to people I know. I'm not talking like strangers. I don't talk to strangers. Even if they got candy. Man, it's like, was it that bad of a joke?
No. I was just thinking of all the strangers I've seen you approach.
I saw those were women though.
Yeah, so I was contemplating in my head, should I say something or just stay quiet?
Yeah. Oh man, I didn't put this in the group. So hey, Jay, you want to take off here and lead the way on this one real quick while I do some more posting?
Yeah. Roger that, no problem. So Abu Mustafa, why don't you introduce yourself to the crowd here that we have watching, and let us know a little something about yourself.
Well, I'm Abu Mustafa from Brooklyn, New York. Been out of the States 13 for like 15 going on 16 years, and just trying to make stuff balance, and been an entrepreneur for over 2 decades, and that's basically it. I'm not that important, but I'm here. I've been here and just balancing the scale.
Nice. So where are you currently residing now?
Now I'm in the UAE. It's called Sharjah, Sharjah, UAE. I've been here for 3 years. And previously I was in Egypt for like 13 years.
Awesome. So in terms of, so we're talking, you made the move, you left America, so about over 15 years ago.
Yeah.
So if we're going back to 2000, so if we go back to 2005, right? And I know times have changed a lot since then. Some things have gotten harder, some things have gotten easier, because 2005 we were still in the wake of September 11th. But
yeah,
how was the transition for you? The move, what did it entail for you to kind of put on your big boy thobe and get on that plane and ride out?
Well, I kind of jumped prematurely, but I jumped. I was working for Board of Education. That's like the school district in New York, and I had like 8 years as a computer administrator, and I was just tired. I was being tested constantly and ups and downs, and I was like, yo, it got to be a different way. So I got a chance to go to Egypt. And, I'm venturous. So I said, yo, I resigned. I left everything. I had to actually resign from the school district. I lost all my benefits and everything. And I just had some money saved up, and I jumped and went to Egypt. And I wasn't working for a little while in Egypt, from 2005 to 2006, 6.5. And then I went back to America for a little while, but my family was still in Egypt. So I went to America for like a year. But I was back and forth, like every 3 months, every 4 months. I was back and forth tremendously. And it was it was a learning experience, a real big learning experience, you know. And I was a graphic
Yeah.
designer doing stuff on the side, you know, for the Muslim masjids and a lot of Muslimun, and I just.
So how was the process when you? I mean, because you didn't need a visa or anything when you landed, when you got on the plane to go to Egypt, right? So what was the process like when you landed at the airport? How was the experience? What did you wish that you had done differently in hindsight, if anything?
Well, you know, going to Egypt at that time was real easy. You could go to Egypt and get a year visa just for visiting, and every year you just renew it, you know. And so I was good on that part. And then they started tightening down, you know, because I was there for the the Arab Spring, and so they started changing a lot of rules and regulations, you know, and it started becoming every 3 months from a year you had to renew, and then 6 months they'll ask you why you're there, and if you didn't have a good enough excuse, they would tell you to go back to your country.
Mm-hmm.
So I had a chance to put my children in Azhar, and I was writing off of their ikamas and visas, you know. So that was something that pushed me up,
Nice.
you know. So I was doing it, but it was only, the problem is that they don't recognize wives that's not the children's mother. So every 3 months and it was a headache.
I'm sorry, bro. Can you repeat that for me? I didn't quite understand that. They don't recognize wives that are not the mothers of your children?
Nope. Even if you're legally married, they don't recognize it.
That's interesting.
So if you come there with a wife that's not even legally married and you have children in school, mm-hmm. you get the visa, you know, for but she doesn't. She's considered still a visitor.
That's
you know, and yeah.
But they don't have like multiple wives there. They're not. I don't know what's up with Egypt. They don't have like multiple wives there. Them dudes don't have like a situation where guys got like 2 wives or something.
Not openly like that. They're against it big time. The government and everybody.
Oh, did that make sense? That's why.
Yeah, they're against it big time.
Okay.
You know, and they'll try to downplay you big time.
Gotcha.
You know?
Gotcha.
So
so you were in Egypt for a period of time. Yep, go ahead.
Yeah. So you know, I struggled a little bit in Egypt. You know, even with my business, and like every year when people got their tax return, they call me and say, "Yo, Samir, I want to make Hijra. I want to come to Egypt." And I'm saying, just because you got money don't mean you got to jump. I said it's best that you have some type of income, because you don't want to start depending on other people. You know, and a lot of people were doing that, and I've seen people come and go. I had an income because of my business, you know, but people came, they had 10,000, 20,000, they had a lot of money, but you get there, you got to buy everything, washing machine, refrigerator, you know, because they give you a flat, and it's really a flat. You have nothing there. Mm-hmm. So people buy the best of the best, and they live like kings and queens for 6 months, and then they run out of money, and then they don't know what to do.
You know what's interesting? When I was in Qatar, this brother said that. He said, you know, people, they come to Qatar and they live like Qataris, but they ain't a Qatari. Because them Qataris be living large.
And they ain't got Qatari money. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. That's funny. It's like seems to be a universal problem amongst people.
Well, how much of it, I mean, like Abu Mustafa, I've noticed the problem I have is, like, in the Middle East, dealing with dirhams and dinars and riyals, something could be like, I don't know, 400 riyals, and I don't really blink at it. I don't see that as a lot of money. But then when I look at it and I'm like, man, I just spent $105 on that.
Yeah.
Like, that seems like a lot to me, but for some stupid reason, 400 riyals or dinar, it doesn't seem like a lot. Have you noticed that? Was it any different in Egypt?
It was because in Egypt, the dollar is real weak there now. When I was there, $1 was like $7 £7. Now it's like $1 is like 17, 18 pounds. You know, and
okay. And my thing is, what would a Big Mac meal cost at McDonald's?
oh man,
Man,
a
don't
Big
eat
Mac
McDonald's. You
meal.
don't know them prices.
No, it's not. No, it's actually the funny thing is actually it's a little bit cheaper than America. McDonald's in Egypt, a lot of things are much more cheaper because of it's a third world country. You know, so
yeah, for me, it helps put currency into perspective, right? When we're talking about exchange rates 1 to 7 and 1 to 15, that's cool. But how much would like something that universal that everyone can understand around the world? I don't know, and just in my mind, I always put it into perspective of a Big Mac meal from McDonald's.
Yeah, but you got to know about Egypt. Egypt is really only two classes in Egypt. It's dirt poor and super rich, and the foreigners are the middle class. The foreigners are the middle class. So when someone
shows up with 100,000 reals, when they show up with $10,000, for example, though, right? Like, and they're like, to say that could go, like, to kind of, it gives us an understanding of the cost of living, right? By understanding like these certain things and how much they cost in different areas. So I understand, the dirt poor people might not be able to afford it, but it just kind of helps to put things into perspective. Like how much does a can of Coke cost, for example, or a can of Pepsi?
Bro, you ever been to Egypt? They have
no, I haven't.
They have a really crazy system there. Even talking about sodas, they have a soda system in a regular general store. If you buy a bottle soda, you pay like 1.5 pounds for it, right? But you have to return that bottle so they can recycle it and put more soda in it and resell it.
Huh.
If you buy the can is probably like five Junay, because you don't have to return it and they can't recycle it.
Okay.
It's kind of like Germany. Germany has like 25 cent can returns. So there's like a little logo, but you just do it in a machine and the machine takes it from you. But in general, in Germany, like if you throw the can away, you're losing 25 cents a can. So basically, it's kind of just throwing money away.
But I think Germany's probably more cleaner in that aspect.
It's pretty clean country, mashallah.
Because sometimes you might get a soda, it might be something in it. You'd be like, "What the heck is that?" Yeah, but
that's so scary, man.
Yeah. Unfortunately, when a person comes with $10,000, for instance, he ends up living in the poor area.
Okay.
And the poor area, he's like a king in that area. They respect him, they talk to him, and sometimes they beg, they knock at his door, and unfortunately sometimes you get robbed, because you're a target now. You're a target.
Hey, how hard a dude got to be to rob an American? They got some hard dudes out there.
Abuamerican, if I tell you some stories, man, listen. I had some runarounds when guys, they have these things called tuk-tuks. It's like it's like a motorcycle with a carriage in the back, and they used to actually drive by people and snatch purses and snatch cell phones. So one time I was walking and they tried to snatch my wife's. I was holding my wife's bag. They tried to snatch it, and I held on it, and I almost tried to yank dude out the thing. But I was good because all the other Egyptians came, grabbed him, and whipped him. They whipped him real bad. I felt bad for him. I was like, dang, I would have.
You feel bad for the thief, huh? He was like, he was trying to rob you, but you didn't deserve a whooping like that, son.
They really did it. They did it to him, because I was about to do it to him, but they came and just blocked me off, and they just took care of him. I was like, oh, okay, go ahead.
It was like, we take care of our own garbage. We take our own garbage out. You
For
just
real,
stand
and
back.
that's how it was. And that's how it was. And but it the scare factor of your wife walking and getting robbed and stuff is it's kind of high out in some places in Egypt. So you got to watch out when you go and how you flaunt your money.
Don't be out there flossing and blinging in the wrong neighborhood.
Nah, don't get the news. So I used to be so scared to have an iPhone.
Dang, but that's kind of rough, ain't it, man? You kind of like you living small because of other dudes. I mean, that's kind of tough, ain't it?
And that's true. You felt embarrassed. You felt embarrassed of just an average telephone.
Wow.
You felt embarrassed buying your kids nice shoes. It's a fact that it depends on where you live at too. Like I said, and you get if you make that move, you gotta be aware and do your due diligence. It's cheap. It's very cheap. You can live for almost nothing there, but you gotta be smart. You gotta be smart.
So this is basically Egypt for Muslims could be like South America for money Twitter, right?
Yeah.
Money Twitter always talking about, oh, you can get steak special for like $2,
See, but they got some high class parts of Egypt, and that's
it's a big tourist destination for Europeans, so I can imagine.
Yeah, they got some nice spots, but we hear rent is only $60. We're gonna want to go to that place.
Yeah, that's nothing, man.
I'm $60, seriously.
That's free.
Yeah, bro. Yo, my monthly bills in Egypt was approximately maybe $250-$300.
Man, yeah, that's nothing. So let me ask you something though. I heard about Egypt a lot. I mean, a lot of brothers told me about Egypt, going there and this, that, the other. What's the appeal to Egypt if it's like, if you're gonna be living rough? Because I figure like this: if I'm gonna be living rough and not necessarily struggling. I mean, like you said, you can live cheap. You don't have to be struggling. But if I'm gonna live like that, then I can do somewhere where I know and somewhere I'm comfortable. What is it about Egypt that gives it that appeal that you would want to go live like that? Over chilling at home and just really average.
You can learn Arabic and you can learn the Quran. Though that's the actual place for it. If you want to learn Arabic, you got professionals. Quran, you got professionals. Your time there were a lot to 5-6 years in any other Arab country. And if you do a year there, yeah, because
with a cheap cost of living, along with the cheap cost of living,
along with the cheap cost of living, yeah, so
can't argue with that.
So I've heard like a brother, he said if you can collect like $10,000, you can go live in Egypt, for a year, 2 years, and just focus on Arabic, Quran, things like this, and you'll come out solid.
Nice.
My recommendation, I was there for 13 years, and even the Egyptians said you was living in for 13 years. I say that's a good hub for temporary, not to lay your hat down.
Okay.
And
it's permanent.
Yeah, it's not. If you want to go there, learn some Arabic, then go to another country. After that, it's recommended if you want to learn some Arabic and some Quran. But
that's a good tip.
When I was there for so long, they was actually pushing me out. I had to leave. I had to leave because they forced me out.
Wait. Okay. What was we talking like the general populace or the authorities, like in the nation state people?
The government, because I was there for 13 years and they're like, what are you doing here?
Oh, okay. They was just like, you've been chilling too long.
And my kids was even in school. My kids was even in Azhar. And when it came to me to get a visa for them, they wouldn't give it to me. They said we need you. You have to go back to, because I was living in Alexandria at that time, and they wanted me to go back to Cairo. And a lot of people who was living in Cairo had lawyers and giving lawyers money and under the table, and just to
keep themselves sorted.
Exactly. So it started becoming real tight, and a lot of brothers in front of my eyes was getting incarcerated because they didn't have their paperwork. Yeah. So I was like, yo, I said, that's not gonna be me. I said, I'm not.
They ain't chilling in no Egyptian jail.
Yeah. So
you decided to move to the UAE. Was that something out of kind of necessity? It's easy to get to, or was that something you strategically targeted?
Well, I went to Qatar first to check it out, and I really didn't like it. I didn't like the vibe.
Get in line.
You know what? You were smarter than me, because I stuck it out 6.5 years and I hated every single day of it, bro. I don't know how I did it.
And I was so used to, winging it and making it. But I went to Qatar. I said, yo, I can't wing nothing here. It was expensive and real expensive. It was no low cost. There was none of that there.
Not for Americans.
You couldn't even get around. And when I went to some matches, I didn't feel warmth either. I was just giving salams and wasn't getting nothing back. I was like, okay.
Yep.
I was like, okay. So then I started seeing restrictions of Qataris only, and I was like, So I wasn't really feeling it. So I went back to Egypt to think about, dang, I wanted to go to Qatar, but it wasn't going to happen for me. It seemed like, because I didn't feel comfortable at all. So I came to UAE and checked it out. And the day I came, oh man, brothers picked me up from the airport, brought me to the desert. I was like, wow, okay. And I started talking to brothers about pricing, and they said, you got to pay to play, but you can do it here if you apply yourself. I said, I got my own business, and they said, yeah, it's open. I said, okay, and it sounded more promising. And then the Emiratis, wow, it was their adab, the characters impeccable. It was kind of unbelievable. You know
their manners,
the Qataris, man, they're like, man. I mean, we kind of all over the place with the conversation, but the Qataris, man, it's like you said, you get these cats salams and they won't salam you back. It got to a point, man. One time I was out at this park and I was in a bad mood. I was always in a bad mood in Qatar. So I said salam alaikum to this brother walking by, trying not to mean mug people because I was mad. I was just trying to be polite. Man, he would not give me the salams back. I just stopped and turned around. He was walking the other way, walking past me. I said, hey. He was like, all scared. I was like, I said salamu alaikum. He said, alaikum salam, alaikum salam. I was about to crush, dude. I was like, I'm getting my salams. So yeah, they're rough like that, but there's no in between with them. They either really like you or they really don't, and there's like no in between with them. So it's always like with Kuwait, Kuwait's very different. I never met a Kuwaiti that wasn't like welcoming and friendly to Americans. They got love for Americans. So I think it's also the state where you go. You know what I mean? Yeah. That was a rant. Sorry.
So what was the process like? So you decided now UAE, this is it. I'm going to make this move. What was the process for you in terms of kind of going from being a visitor to becoming a resident? In terms of the government paperwork, fees, all that type of stuff.
Well, dude, first of all, I was scared as heck because it was like almost 800 to 1,000% more expensive than Egypt. I was like, I don't know how I'm going to do it. So I just said Bismillah and just came here, and I got with a couple of brothers, alhamdulillah, some Salafi brothers, and one of them has a company, and he became my kafil. And I just pay him.
Your sponsor.
Yeah. Because there's a couple of ways you can do it. Either you get sponsored, or you actually spend a couple of million for some property here, or you have your own business, or and you marry a Emirati.
You can marry
Emirati.
Emiratis. They open up like that. They let dudes marry Emiratis.
Yeah, funny. Yes, but they really only marrying their families. Cousins marry cousins, and it's like, yo,
Yeah, that's
I
like a league.
went to I went to a house, and everyone there was one family. They grew up together, and I'm like, oh, you married to their cousin? That's your uncle? That's my uncle and stepfather. I'm like, huh? Oh, dude, okay. But you have to be real cool with them, because there's only a very small percentage of Emiratis here. Very small. It's like,
it's like Qatar. They're like less than 20% or something of the nation. 15%, I think it was. I can't remember. We got a question here. How strong is from FOMO Trader? How strong is the Salafi Dawah down in UAE? What they looking like with the Salafis down there?
Alhamdulillah, it's good. We have one of Ubayd Jabari's students here.
Okay.
His name is Muhammad's name is Muhammad Ghalib. And he was, if you know Mustafa George, he was one of Mustafa George's classmates. But he went on studying under Ubayd Jabari, and he's one of the imams here in a masjid called Masjid Aisha, and he's a professor in a university here, right next to the masjid.
Is he in Dubai or Sharjah or where?
He's in Dubai. He's in Dubai.
See, so let me run this something. I don't know if you've seen this or not. So I met an Emirati student, an older, probably closer to my age than you brother's age, and he said he broke down the Dawah scene in the UAE. He said it's because each one is like a federation, each country. He said the only place where Salafis could really operate was in Dubai, and the irony of that is because Dubai is such a dunya'd out place. It's glitzy and glamour, and he said that's the only place that Salafis can really operate and be imams in the mosques and have conferences and things like this. And in the other places they couldn't. And so of course we asked, why is that? And he said because somebody basically within the royal family, they're very close with Habib al-Jifri, who is I think a Yemeni extreme Sufi who I think got Emirati citizenship, and he basically controls all the Dawah scenes in these other emirates, but he wasn't able to convince the ruler of Dubai to kind of restrict the Salafis. Have you heard anything like that at all, Abu Mustafa, or noticed anything like that?
Well, in Sharjah, you won't find any of the scholars come here in Sharjah, but like in Ras Al Khaimah, they paid for what's his Abdul Razak Al Badr. He came here, and in Abu Dhabi, there's actually a Salafi scholar there. I can't remember his name, Ibrahim something. So it's in the past. I heard it was really bad. It was really bad in the past. Now it's starting to increase. It's starting to get much better, because the funny thing is if you give dawah to an Emirati, their character, they're so open, and they want to hear the truth. So it's not like they're shying away from it or pushing you away. You don't know nothing. They feel that since you're a revert, you're better than them, so they listen to you. And they might still do things, but they like hearing the word sunnah. They do their best to stay away from bid'ah. But they don't know how to differentiate the haq from the haq.
Haq is true. Batil is falsehood to anybody who doesn't know some of the Arabic terms. And this is like when we're talking about truthhood and falsehood. Haq and batil, we're talking in the context of like religious practice. Whoops, that thing is like vibrating like crazy. You mind if I jump in real quick? You were talking about entrepreneurial, like, work and whatnot out there in the UAE. I don't know if you know. Maybe you do, maybe you don't. What's their stance on cryptocurrencies? I might have to Google that. Do you know what their stance is on mining and cryptocurrency out there? Do you know what it is?
No, I really don't know. Because as long as you, if you want your own business, as long as you pay, you can play. You can do anything you want. They have two forms of businesses here. They have the free zone, and the free zone actually your partners is the government. That's your partner, and the other one is the brick and mortar, where you can actually get the store and stuff. But your partner has to be an actual Emirati.
You know what? I think they actually have Bitcoin machines there. Well, it says right here, Dubai, while the UAE doesn't recognize Bitcoin as a legal form of tender, there are means to trade them. So I think that's those Bitcoin machines that I saw like online. The only legal tender in UAE is the UAE dirham. Bitcoin is considered the most liquid crypto. It involves accessing cryptocurrency exchanges that allows UAE residents to open accounts and trade using them. So they apparently do have exchanges that allow people to convert their cryptocurrency into dirham, which is okay. So then technically, I guess it would be legal. That's pretty cool. Good to know.
But
maybe you knew.
Cryptocurrency is basically becoming legal all over the world now. I won't be surprised.
Yeah, it's crazy how it's going. Oh, sorry, looking. I didn't want to interrupt you there, Jay.
What is Jay?
No problem. So what would you say is the average amount of money that someone living in Sharjah needs to make, let's say with a wife and 2 children? What would he need to pull in as a salary to be able to, live a bare minimum Western lifestyle?
I think the lowest apartment per month is maybe 700 USD. That's per month, 700 USD. So a person should be at least bringing between 1,500 to 2,000 USD.
Gotcha.
And that could, and then if they were in a place like Dubai or Abu Dhabi, how much would that increase for them?
It depends where you live at, and it depends on what you get. If you're actually working here, that's really no money that they pay. They pay people like 5,000 dirhams a month to 10,000 dirhams to 20,000 dirhams. So that's like 5,000 dirhams is like 1,000. It's probably, I could say like almost like 15 to 1,800, 2,000. Yeah, 1,000 dirhams is, 10,000 dirhams is like maybe like $2,700. So if you got a job here, they pay you well. But if you're doing your own business, you have to you have to work hard. You have to work hard to make at least 1,000, 1,500 a month. I say that.
Okay. Yeah. That's doable though. Especially if you got your online game good. That's pretty doable. That's not bad at all.
And food is and it surprised me because they have a thing in Sharjah only, really. Sharjah is like one of the top spots of people buying stuff. Even they come from different Emirates to buy food and buy clothes and stuff here.
Yeah.
They have like a month or more stipulations of food. If it's gonna expire like a 2 months or a month, depending on the store, they put it in these discount stores. And a discount store will throw the price like half off or
50%.
more than 50%. Because you buy some Oreo cookies from the regular supermarket. We have like something called Lulu's here.
Yeah,
it costs like 30. It costs like maybe 30 30 dirhams. But you go to the discount store, you get the same pack for 5 dirhams.
Oh man, that's like 85, 90%, man.
Yeah, and you come off. You can buy. They have meat, they have milk, they have everything that a person would need.
Yeah. FOMO Trader asks. Actually, FOMO Trader made 2 comments here. Let me go to this first one. He said, I lived off crypto for 30 days in UAE, literally traveled there with a couple of BTC. Then he goes on to ask the question, could someone live comfortably in Dubai with a salary of 3,000? 3,000 what, FOMO? Because I know you ain't US based. So we talking dollars, we talking euros, we talking pounds, we talking, what we talking here, bro?
No, I think he's got the dollar symbol there, doesn't he?
Oh yeah, he does got the dollar symbol. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
okay.
you can live over 3,000. It depends. If you're by yourself, oh man, you're a king. You know. And so, and the only thing that really charms you is the visa process. Because you got to get a visa, you got to get an ID, you know, and that's what really charms you. And everything is yearly here. Your rent is yearly. Your contracts for your job is yearly. Every year you have to renew everything.
So let me ask you this. Is there mandatory medical insurance, or is that just like voluntary? Can you just go in and pay as you go, or do you have to have mandatory medical insurance? Like here in Germany, you can't be in Germany without some sort of medical insurance. You have to have proof of medical insurance. Is it similar there, or can you just go to the doctor and like drop some cash on them and then head back out?
You could drop them cash, but you're gonna be spending a lot of money. You're gonna be spending a lot of money. You know, it's best sometimes. You know, it depends on the person. If a person doesn't have good health, he might be pushed towards to get medical insurance.
Yeah.
You know, and sometimes it depends on the Emirate you're in too. They said it's mandatory for you to get your visa to have medical insurance, but it depends on the Emirate you're in.
Omraga says something. Oh, sorry, wow, that was loud. Omraga says something here. I guess issue is school fees. So saying primary issue is school fees. Let me ask you something. What's their stance on homeschooling? So can you homeschool your kids there if you don't want to like pay like, because I know for a fact anywhere in the Middle East, school fees are like mad insane expensive. So if you want to homeschool, what's their take on that?
You know why you can homeschool, but it becomes a problem.
Mm-hmm. What happened?
I think we lost.
Did I drop her?
No, you're good. I dropped
again. Okay.
Hear me?
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
Yeah,
now we can hear you.
Can hear you now. Okay. Yep. Start that thought again.
I said you can homeschool your child, but it becomes a problem when you get to higher learning because they don't accept certain certificates in homeschool diplomas and stuff like that. So your child will have to maybe do a couple of years or something in a regular brick and mortar school to get that type of for them to recognize that they have some type of paperwork.
There was excuse me. I'm like, there was a homeschooling program out of the US. I can't remember the name of it, man. And they gave you an actual high school diploma. And it was recognized by the state. You had to buy, of course, their program. I think it was like $1,300 every year, you know, for their program. But yeah, I think it was Calvert. Yeah.
K-12 does that too. They have a lot of them actually.
Yeah, but Calvert's not the only one anymore. I know there's quite a few now. So yeah. That's would they? So I think that's probably an option for anybody who homeschools. I mean, I homeschool my kids, you know. And they did have the same problem here in Germany. You know, there was no sort of recognition of their certifications because they're homeschooled, because homeschooling is technically illegal in Germany. So what they did was they went to like this class that like let them take some tests and whatnot, you know, to get those, you know, get their qualifications. My kids, they scored top of their class. So it was like it was in there with a bunch of Germans and was like, and we didn't even teach them German. And they went in there and beat the German kids in German on a German test, you know, not in terms of the German language, but the whole test was in German. They just like slaughtered them. I was like, dang. And then they went to the US and my son was in the top 98 percentile on the ASVAB, the same kid who did that thing, you know, he did his test in Germany. Then he was having problems like getting in the military here in Germany. They didn't want to let him join. So he went to the US, took the ASVAB top 98%. I was like, dang, man.
Wow, that's high, man.
I'm like, what you doing, dude? Why are you doing the military? But
yeah. So the kids can go if they finish homeschool, they can go to college. But they when it's time for them to take the test and get out of college, that's where the problem starts.
Okay,
that's where the problem starts. So, alhamdulillah, look at you. You just came from work, bro. So that's why.
I got off work and it was I get up. You know what? Before I go to this question, I'll just a little off topic, just a little man. I don't know what it is. Like clockwork. It started about maybe 2 months ago. I wake up at 4 a.m. every day and I can't go back to sleep. I don't know why. There's no reason. I don't wake up that early for work. It's just my body just decided one day it's like 4 a.m. is it. And I mean, it is like clockwork. You know, there's some days it doesn't go off. So today was one of them days I was up before and I was just like, staring at the ceiling like, oh man. Anyway, Hassan Shahir. Shah, man, y'all with all these letters, mashallah. Americans, man, we be butchering y'all foreign names. I apologize, bro, if I said it all wrong. Assalamu alaikum. Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Is it true that you get prosecuted / arrested for homeschooling your children in Germany? Absolutely. It is totally illegal, and it's very hard to get out of it. Your only options are to go to a EU state where it is not illegal. And even then that's kind of difficult because Germany will actually chase you down if you're a German citizen. As like a non-German citizen, they won't chase you down, but while you're in the country, they will make your life hell. They'll literally show up with the cops and take your kids to school, and if that doesn't work, then they'll just basically, they can probably revoke the guardianship of your children from you. There were German citizens. I'm sorry.
I was going to say, and explain the origin of that law. You know
where that law came from? I'll get to it. Yeah. So there was a German couple. It's a pretty famous case. They went to the United States and they claimed political and religious prosecution for not being allowed to homeschool their children since they were a exceptionally religious, conservative family. They are still in the United States, but the United States has ruled that they are not prosecuted, for fleeing to the United States from Germany. By the German government. They're very, very hard on this. The origins of this, I can't remember exactly where the origins are, but the German state standpoint is that education is not something. German government has the right to educate your children over the parents. That's basically the government stance, that we have a right to the mentality and the future thought processes of your children more than you do. Welcome to socialism.
This is a law that came about during Hitler's reign. In the build up to World War II, I believe. So this is a Nazi era law that they haven't got rid of.
Yeah. So just so you know, that's why I asked about homeschooling in UAE. Most of the Middle East, I haven't seen a Middle Eastern country where it is illegal to homeschool. Qatar was the same; they didn't really care. Saudi Arabia, I'm not really sure. I was there for a short time, not enough to like bring my family, so I can't say there.
No, Saudi's cool.
Yeah, there you go. The reality is in most of these Muslim countries, as long as you stay out of politics and like pressuring their politics and like pushing their politics, man, you're more free there than you are than you think you are. Probably equal to, if not more free than some Western states. A lot of people, especially the non-Muslims, guys freak out because you can't just go around smashing and dashing on women and drinking alcohol and all that stuff how you will, and then stumbling around the streets vomiting. But then, we all been to London. And nobody likes to, be walking around tiptoeing after 18 people vomited on the sidewalk in the middle of the night and you trying to go to work Saturday morning. So I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing.
No, when you add in the safety of the Gulf countries anyway, there's no doubt that it's superior in that regard.
My man, Alex Lazar, that's my homie. He said homeschooling is the way to go. You get to tailor curriculum to kids and abilities and you avoid indoctrination. Absolutely. My girl, Yasmina, what's up, girl? Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah. My magnesium deficiency. I'll take some magnesium. I got some here. Okay, so FOMO Trader, he coming with them fire questions, boy. FOMO. If you want to deposit a lot of money in a UAE bank, do they freeze the funds and question you?
Nah, they really don't. You can withdraw up to probably like the ATM gives out like 10,000 dirhams. Most of them, 10,000 dirhams is like
it's coming up on 3 G's, ain't it?
Only 3 G's, yeah, with no question.
That's nice. That's double what it is in Saudi.
Yeah.
Qatar similar. Them people got that oil money, man. It's like, you gonna tell me he can't take his money out the bank? You know what I mean? Yeah.
So Abu Mustafa, what are your plans going forward? Do you see yourself kind of doing 13 years in the UAE like you did in Egypt, or do you have something else that you have your eye on?
Currently, no, I don't. And the funny thing is, I was just telling them, brother, I spent a lot of money here, but I don't regret it. It's not money like, dang, man, I spent that money. I'm actually not regretting it. I can go to the ATM, and my daughter can go to the ATM and take a whole bunch of money in her hand and count it and don't worry about nothing. And it's always something here to do and to keep yourself occupied. Living here and working is basically feel like you're working on your vacation days. You can go to the beach if you want to. You can one of the big things in the GCC is going to the malls. Malls all over the place. They have a lot of museums here. They have a lot of aquariums. They have a lot of things that could keep you occupied and keep you out of trouble too. And the government.
So this is
government
it for you then.
a lot of people.
So this is it for you. This is, you could see yourself kind of riding the wave out in the UAE, if things kind of continued on that path, that trajectory that you're on now.
So far, yeah. So far, I haven't seen any other place. Of course, I wish they'd give me a visa. I mean, give me a citizenship, but no place is gonna give us a citizenship. And anyone who make Hijra, you got to have in the back of your mind that one day you might have to just pack up everything and go.
Yeah, they're going to kick you out.
Yeah, so. But I'm gonna ride till the wheels fall off as much as I can.
Okay.
But I'm gonna be strategic also. I'm not gonna live large like some people want, but I'm just gonna do my due diligence and play the game right so I can last a little bit longer. Inshallah.
Sorry, just to
Inshallah.
Comment here asking about this is like, for people who got kids, what's the Yasmina was talking on Facebook, and she was asking, well, she wasn't asking, but she was just talking about like, vaccinations. Are they mandatory there, or what's up with kids? Because some people, don't want to give their kids vaccinations. What's the word over there?
What you talking about, the COVID vaccination or just
any vaccine? The anti-vaxxers, they're a thing.
But I think the basic ones for kids, I'm not saying it's mandatory. In Egypt, it was mandatory. In Egypt, the kid had to get vaccinated. When he was born there, they had to get the shots. Here, I'm not too sure. Here.
Okay.
In Saudi, they're very strict on it.
Got to get it done.
Your child, they will not give you the birth certificate from the hospital without that child getting vaccinated.
Qatar, they're cool. They're just like, whatever, man. That's your choice. Your kid gets sick, that's on you.
Even now, I was told maybe 5 years ago, in order to give you in Saudi to get your children their residency permit, the passport office, the Jawazat, they want to see vaccination certificates as well.
Oh wow, okay.
Oh, they didn't do that here, but I remember when I know Saudi does that. I know Saudi, but they didn't do that for my kids to get residency here.
Yeah, when I came to Saudi, they didn't do that as well. That was something apparently about 5 or 6 years ago they implemented. They wanted it for school to get the kids into school, but that was, I don't know if it was using kind of Western privilege, but that was really easy to kind of to get around. That was pretty easy. But with dealing with the passport office, apparently there's no getting around that. That's like a box they have to tick in the online, program they use.
Yeah. Now Qatar, man, they were cool. They're just like, whatever, it's like they really pushed you in the hospital to get it done, but there was no obligation. Just some things that people think about when they move. These are things that like people have on their mind. That's why I asked the question.
Absolutely. No, I'm fantastic question.
I'm more like I'm more like the 10-year type guy. I mean, and Jai actually, you know, he and I talked about this a while back. You know, there's like, you know, in the UK, there's certain children that are to get, what was it? Tuberculosis? What was it? TB?
TB or meningitis.
Some sort of vaccination, and some kids got it immediately. Other kids got it after their 10th year, and it was just like, yo, what the, you know? So yeah, it was a long time ago.
Oh yeah, so yeah, no, tuberculosis. They don't give it to. They only give it to what they call BAME, black and minority ethnic or something. They only give it to basically black and brown kids. They don't give tuberculosis, or is it meningitis? It was one of the two. They don't give it to the white children.
This is a question I can answer. I don't know what the answer is going to be like for Saudi or for UAE. Maybe you guys can cover, but I could talk about it for Qatar. So Hassan asks, how much of a risk would you say it is to put your child in public school? If parents teach the child religion at home and warn the child against the misguidance of public schools, is it effective? Well, in Qatar, it's not a matter of religion more than anything else. I mean, you know, in general, they're very close to like the Sunnah in regards to religious teachings, you know, from the Aqidah and the Manhaj. There are some problems, there are some deviations, but they're easily corrected. I'm not saying you want to like have to do that full time, but it's not massively seriously. You'll find that a lot of children have a very solid understanding of Aqidah and Manhaj, you know, at an early age. What the biggest problem was in Qatar in specific was tribalism. So when you send your kids to like one of them public schools, it's like everybody's got their tribe there. So you got cousins, nieces, nephews, uncles. I mean, even uncles in the same age group. And because of just how big these families are and how intermixed they are, and they roll like a crew. And they're literally, if you're from a like, you know, a small tribe, or if you're alone, like, you know, a Westerner, then you dealing with like very, very bullyish children. You know, and there was a brother, unfortunately, he left Saudi Arabia because his children, he was a psychologist, and he said, my kid has like PTSD, whatever you call it, you know, post-traumatic stress disorder. He says, my kid actually showing signs of it, as I got to get him out of schools out of there because it's the same problem. So I'm not sure if this is a Khalij-wide problem, but one brother actually came to Qatar and left, you know, Saudi Arabia because of that, just because of his children.
Well, here, you know, if you put a Western kid inside of one of those schools, they have to be ready to fight, because they're gonna bully them, and they're gonna try them. So, but it's a low percentage here. So, the schools is basically for them, and foreigners go to the foreign schools, the English schools, where they pay a lot of money. So.
Yeah. I mean, I put my kids in public Saudi schools, and while I recognize, you know, the stories of bullying and things like that I saw even other people in Saudi deal with, I never had that issue with my kids. What I will say, in terms of getting back to the question, is the level of kind of work that you have to do in Saudi Arabia. There's a big difference between the boys and the girls' schools. So with the boys' schools, it's a little bit better in terms of how things are approached and how things are done on an educational level. On the female side, unfortunately, where my daughters went anyways, I don't want to generalize. And it was a couple different schools, and they seem to look, you know, for any excuse to have a party. And that was it. You know, they would throw down, and just, you know, any reason to have a party, they were having it. You know, like with, you know, like even with like music in the schools and stuff like this. And it was something, you know, my wife told me later on. She told me later on. She said, you know, I never told you, but, you know, because I was afraid you would pull the kids out of the school, but, you know, I wanted them to learn the Arabic and the Quran and this stuff. But, you know, they you know, play music quite a bit in the girls' schools.
Wow. Crazy stuff. Yeah, you know, you kids didn't get bullied, man. You just over there exercising and flexing your white privilege, bro. Come on, man. We're gonna go full SJW here.
Yeah.
Alhamdulillah, they ain't get bullied. Alhamdulillah, man. That's a ni'mah from Allah. That's a blessing from Allah, man. MashaAllah. My kids didn't even go to school, and they ended up in fights on the street with them local kids, man. Them kids just run up to them in the park and were just acting stupid, and then they end up like slinging fists out there, man. It was kind of crazy. Yeah. So we 54 minutes, guys. If you guys got any more questions, we're gonna shut this down in about like 6 minutes. Actually 5, because we're coming up on 55 here. If you guys got questions, drop them now. Otherwise.
So Mustafa, what do you got? What are you doing out there? You got anything you want to plug? You want to throw out there?
Yeah.
How do the people find you?
Well, basically, I'm a graphic designer, and I help small businesses. I give advice and give them really a reality check. Because business is real, and everyone wants to be an entrepreneur these days, and it's not an easy road. It's not an easy road. You have to have patience, and you have to have foresight. And you can't just be throwing your money out there you have to take risk. You have to take risk. And a lot of people are not ready to do that. People just want to put money out and get money back in return, but it doesn't work like that all the time.
You need that.
Sometimes you actually pay for experience. You give all the money out and you get nothing in return, but it's an experience that you actually pay for. So, it's so if anyone needs any advice or help, I'm here for that. I can help them, get on their toes and give them a reality check, help them not spend all their money.
FOMO Trader comes. How are software engineering roles in Dubai/UAE? It's been hard to find much information online.
I don't really know about that much about that.
There you go. It's like is further lack of information, unfortunately, FOMO. Sorry, bro.
So where can if someone wanted to hit you up to do some graphic design or to do some to hit you up with some consulting for businesses, where can they find you?
They can go to strictlysoonerdesigns.com, or they can go to my Twitter account. Same thing, Strictly Sooners Designs with an S.
I dropped your Instagram
there it is. Good. And strictlysoonerdesigns.com.
Yeah.
Let me put all destinations here, and then it'll go on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. Bang. There we go.
Thank you. Alhamdulillah.
All right, guys. I guess we're gonna shut this down a couple minutes earlier. Barakallahu fikum for signing in. We got some. I don't know, man. I'm hoping. I'm not gonna say any. Oh wait, here we go.
Put it out there. Go.
No. Here comes Alex. Alex Azar says, "Do you get your graphic design clients from the Gulf area?"
Yeah, I got some from here. Yeah, mostly I do most of my graphic design from the West, people in the West. But I got stuff from here too, But it's very difficult dealing with people here. It's cool, but they really penny pinchers. They want a lot for a little bit of money. And then you got to chase them. You got to chase them for your money.
How does that go? Well, maybe you should ask him that like privately about rates and whatnot. Yeah, Alex Lazar actually he's a web designer. I work with him. He did my website and everything. He's really good. Check him out on Instagram. His Twitter. Yeah, he's really good too. You guys should link up actually. Maybe you guys should do some work together. Yeah, I've been working with Alex for quite some time. I've been working for Alex like almost a year now, if not a full year. And the dude's a beast, man. Yeah, we're gonna have some big names on here. So guys, tune back in. Oops, that happened on accident. Bro, I don't should I mention it? Can I mention it? Can I say it? What's up, Jay? You setting it up.
Leave it for Twitter and that.
All right, well, let's just say you will see a surprise guest here, inshallah. You guys gonna be like, what? Abuamerican got him on? Oh my god, Abuamerican. No autographs or whatever. I'm just playing. Let me stop clowning. Jay, you want to plug something before we go?
Barakallahu fikum.
I don't.
All right. Abu Mustafa, I dropped your site, or at least your Instagram. Guys can link up and find you from there. Inshallah. We're more than happy to have you back on in the future. You guys know me. I've been here forever. Abuamerican.com. Barakallahu fikum for tuning in. Inshallah, we will see you on the next episode. Look out for updates on Twitter on the guests who will be showing up. Inshallah. We're out.
Jazakallah
Over and
khair.
out.
Right.